I'm going to do this because you're sleeping. Oh gosh, I'm so freaking nervous right now and you're not even awake. Oh gosh. These are the things that I really want to say to you, but I'm just terrified to say out loud, because if I tell you this, then you're going to know. I know that's a pretty stupid way of thinking, but feelings are scary. And I have so many feelings for you. So, oh God. Come on, you can do this. Okay. Well, for starters, I am so in love with you. And if I'm honest, I've loved you since the day that we met. Yeah. I know that sounds crazy, but that night that we met, I was going through a lot. Like a lot. And I was scared. My head was everywhere, and I honestly wasn't even going to show up. I remember I called every single friend in my phone, and I was begging them to talk me out of it. I was already talking myself out of it. I was like, what am I doing? Why would I meet up with a stranger? It's so dangerous. You know, before you, I wasn't really one to take risk. I wasn't. I've always been the person to stay on the safe side. That way I don't get into any trouble or put myself in danger, you know. But for some reason, my friends were all for it. And they all told me, go, just stop thinking about stuff and get out of your head and go see him. So I did. And I remember I called a ride. And as soon as I got in it, I was losing my mind. I was fighting with myself so hard to tell them to turn around and take me back home. And instead, the driver was just telling me that everything was going to be okay, which was weird because he didn't even know what was going on. But I don't know. Everything that night was just weird. And I remember texting you and asking you like a bunch of stupid questions just to ease my mind a little bit. And the whole time you were just asking me like all these questions that I didn't have answers to. And in my head, I was like, gosh, stop texting me. I'm on the way. Not because I didn't want to talk to you, but because I didn't want to ruin it before I got there. I actually suck at talking to guys, believe it or not. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I was just trying to get there and complete that goal, you know. And then I remember we were about like 10 minutes away from your house. And I realized where we were, and I was like, oh gosh, this could be so bad. I have to go home. And I was asking the driver, I was like, is it possible if we could just like turn around, even though it took me like an hour to get here? And he's like, no, you're doing this. I probably should have reported him for that. Anyways, I remember the closer that we were getting to your house, I was praying that, you know, the driver didn't pull into the driveway. You know, that way the headlights wouldn't be in your windows and you would know that I was there yet. And then I remember he parked across the street. And I told him I was just going to, you know, pace outside, since he said that he wouldn't leave me there until he saw you. And in my head, I was getting so irritated. I'm like, oh my gosh, can you just be a regular person who doesn't care about other people and like drive off? But he stayed there. And I remember as I was pacing, I was just thinking to myself, like, this is the dumbest thing that you've ever done. And surprisingly, I think it might have been the smartest. But what I do remember was that, like I said, my head was everywhere. I was feeling everything at once. I was nervous, scared, anxious, questioning every single thing in my life up until that point that led me there. And I just remember the second that I saw you, everything went calm. My mind was quiet and I was so freaked out. I was like, what is this? What does that mean? I've never experienced anything like that before. And then I remember you were just looking at me. I don't even know how long we were just looking at each other. And then you were like, are you coming? Oh gosh, I don't want to wake you up. But I was like, yeah, I'm coming. And you brought me inside and then we went to your room and then you started asking me a bunch of questions. I don't even remember if I told the truth for half of them. I was just like, I need to get this over with. I don't know what's going on. I'm like freaked out. And on top of that, you looked so much better than your pictures. So much better. You were so hot. You still are, but that took me back. Gosh, I still get nervous talking about it. But I remember later on in the night, you'd put your arm out on the bed. And I've seen a lot of movies before, so I knew that that meant that you wanted to cuddle. But I was so like confused because I didn't know that like people did that on like the first meet. And I remember as I was getting closer, I was like, what are we doing? And then you said that you really wanted to kiss me. And I hadn't heard those words in like such a long time. At least like not in person. Every like DM I get, it's just like, ugh, another one. But I remember you said that you wanted to kiss me. So I was like, okay. I just said, okay. And then you leaned in and we kissed. And that kiss, it wasn't like a normal one. No, it was different. It meant something. I didn't know what it meant at first, but gosh, that kiss, it reminded me of something that you would imagine some soldier that, you know, being gone for like 4 years, coming home to his family. Whatever kiss that would be, like that's what I felt. I felt like I already knew you. Like I already loved you. And gosh, it was in that moment that I knew that there was something there. Something special, you know. And then I remember I started asking you a bunch of questions. And you were telling me about your family and how much you love them. And the whole time you were talking, I was just like, this is everything that I've ever wanted in someone. Something that I had told myself like the day before that didn't exist. I completely talked myself out of it. I was just like, you're not a girl who, you know, gets the guy. You get plenty of them. It's just not, you know, meaningful. Because I get a lot of attention. That's never been a problem. People tell me I'm pretty every single day, but it's not the same. And believe it or not, it's not really a good feeling being lusted after, you know? I mean, sometimes, but it really only matters when that person actually cares. I never really make it to that point with anyone. You know, for me, I said relationships just weren't meant for me. But at the same time, I just felt like no one could actually love me. And then there was you. I remember I put my head on your chest and you held me. And that was the first time that I ever let anybody hold me. I felt so safe. And honestly, that was like the closest thing to love that I had felt in forever, if ever. you know? And after seeing you and having that and going home, I knew I had to see you again. And I spent so much time just thinking to myself, am I even ready for this? Am I good enough for this? I don't know. I had so many questions with myself because I didn't want to hurt you. And just me having such a pessimistic outlook on love, it was like, I don't want to get hurt again. I mean, obviously, I still kind of feel that way. Otherwise, I would wake you up and tell you that I'm in love with you, you know. But I really do want to tell you. I can't wait to let you know that from the very beginning, I've chosen you. Like, you know how old people say, you know when you know? Or how do they say it? When you know, you know. I feel like I knew that day. Like, that's what we have. I really feel like we could get there. You know, just be two old people holding hands. Gosh, thinking about a future with you is just so exciting. Makes me feel like love might actually be real. And I know that sometimes that you get upset, that you're not always happy, and that you have your struggles, but I'm always going to be there for you. I promise. I'm always going to love you on your good days and even harder on your bad days. I want to be there. I want to tell you that everything's going to be okay, even if I feel like it won't be, but I just don't see my life without you. Gosh, I don't really see a future without you. I don't. Like, I mean this with everything in me. You are incredible. I know sometimes we have our days. We're not always happy with each other. Might have an argument. But you are everything that I've ever wanted. And more than I could ever ask for. And I really I can't wait to tell you this. I really can't. Wait a second. Are you awake? Baby, how long have you been awake? Oh my gosh. Nothing. I'm just thinking out loud, that's all. I'm so embarrassed now. It's fine. It's fine. Let's go back to bed. Okay? Okay. Good night.